Okay, you're all good.
All right. Okay, so I didn't even hear the thing. Okay, so this is the UAT site. We have the UAT, we have the full documentation, we'll have the UAT link in there, of course. But I want to get right into the demonstration. You should see the UAT symbol up here when you're in the UAT environment. And we go right to here, and we have a quick way of getting into this. Now, this is not how anybody's going to get into this, right? This is going to come from a landing page that's being designed right now by some other folks. They'll get in, the public will get into that, but we're going to go right into page one. All right. When you're in here, I'm going to give you a little trick of something you can do, but so you'll put a provider name in. HVAC tech, I don't know. Anyway, you can put a provider name in there, an FEIN or Rapids ID, okay? And you don't want really, you want something unique, but you don't want, but we don't have a lot of things in there. You can use either one right now. And the reason I'm saying unique is because it's a pre-screening. So it's a brand new entity. And then what we do, and then what you can do is put your email address in here, okay? And you'll get that, and I'll do that. You'll get that email sent to you, and you can follow the link in that email. I'm not going to do that because I've done it so many times that, and here's something else you can do. Okay, when you're in here, if you put any kind of email address in and you put at fakemail.com, it'll bypass that email process right now. You might want to do it the first time, but you won't want to do it second time or third time because you'll want to be associated to a brand new clean setup. So if I put in that fake mail like that, fakemail.com, I'll make sure this is in it. Then you're going to get a continue button right here. Okay. And it even says right here, this is for testing purposes, email verification setup bypass. And all you have to do is click there and then you can go through the process. Okay. All right. So what we did after feedback, actually we gained from last week quite a bit, even though we had a few hiccups in it. We gained because we decided to change this so it was collapsed, and so I'll show you what this means, but simplify when you first see it, okay? Which the four choices best describes user provider? We're simple. First of all, let me put in a description, whatever. Okay. Now, this is the way it works throughout the whole thing. If you select a choice, the highest level choice, then it will expand and give you the second set of questions, whichever choice you select. Okay. So we think that's a lot better. We talked about, all of us talked about last week, what can we do? Do we offset it? Because it was very difficult all this was open and it was very difficult to see these choices on the outside. So this is what we went with. And I think this is a much better, cleaner look. Okay. Hopefully you will too. All right. So college and university offers programs leading to officially recognized qualifications, such as industry recognized certificate, state or federal license and association of bachelor's degrees. So we have public or private, okay? And we have institution of higher education program awards, associate's degrees, bachelor's degrees or higher, community-based. I'll put bachelor or higher, and then I will go forward.
Wait,
okay.
Hang on, Al. Last week we talked about allowing for multi-select there.
Oh, you want multi-selector? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought, all right.
No, I didn't think it was.
I thought we
multi-select.
couldn't. Well, I
I
thought there was
think
a
that
discussion.
reporting element is single. That's why we ask for the primarily awards.
Yeah, but if Illinois passes their
Right.
community college law that baccalaureates can be offered in community colleges, they'll need a multi-select.
Then I can do all three in that case.
But it wants the highest that you award.
It will default to the highest. If you select multiple, it's going to take whatever the highest is.
For reporting purposes?
I think so.
All
I
right,
don't
so
think
we'll
Jeff's
do
on
that.
today, but I'm trying to find that in the
Yeah.
ETPL template thing, I'll let
We
you
could-
know.
Yeah, we could definitely do that, and then we can do a rule behind it if you want, if they, if they check multiple. So we can definitely do that. I knew there was some discussion on that, but I thought we only had one
Yeah.
primary reporting element,
Mhm.
and that's why we stuck with one, but
Mm.
we could change that. Okay. The next page is location. Once again, we collapse these up. Remember, this has a bunch of different pieces to it. There was and so if we're in state, that's up here, out of state, then we ask a couple more questions. We even got these expandable down here. So if you say yes here, that's where you select the state. If you say here, that's where you add file. So now we don't have these humongous pages where you're trying to sort through to find the answer you want. If you're in state, you hit the first one. I'm going to hit the in state right now. And then because I hit public higher education, I selected the public, then I went for the in-state one, and then I got to here. Okay, similar thing. Does your provider have approval letter, appropriate agency? If it's yes, obviously, then they can upload this file. And I'll
But
show
I
you.
thought that Whitney said not to include that Illinois Community College Board. Laura, can you go back and check her notes?
Yeah, I'm sure. I thought she did, and I thought I sent that on to Al.
You thought she said not to include this?
Yeah, and I think I sent something on to you from Whitney.
Yeah, because they don't, that's not how they do it. That's how IBHE does it, but that's not how Community College Board does it.
Okay, let me grab that.
And just take
Yep.
or ICCB out.
Yeah.
So you just want this whole question out of here?
No, all we want is
No.
or Illinois Community College Board ICCB. Take that part out.
Yep.
Oh, okay, okay.
So it's just IBHE.
Mhm.
Okay, well, yeah, let me get a note for myself here real quick.
But it's not, I mean, but it's not
Okay.
just,
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah.
it's not
right
just the
here.
Board of Higher Ed. If my program requires a license, I have to have that approval too. Or are we just gonna assume that if they have the approval from IBHE is checked that they're, or if it's Secretary of State, it has to be. I mean, if
This
it's,
is just public higher education.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Sorry.
just public
I got
higher
confused.
education.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
All right, I'm with you now.
And then we can add a file. I'm just gonna select the dummy file. Okay,
And then Al in the notes, in the chat, Mark's typing, we looked into that 104 for the question before about primarily awards, and it is a single entry.
okay.
So if you
keep it the
allow
way it is.
multi-select, you would have to be able to report the highest one they selected. If you allow multi-select.
I can
No,
do that.
I don't know why I've thought that for so many times, but it's clearly not here. No, we couldn't do multiple on the first question because it's asking for what is the majority of what you
That's
lead
what I
to.
thought.
So a community college would be associates almost in every instance, I would
In the
think.
previous screen.
So it's all about majority, except for a RAPS is a RAP. There's no majority there. Or identify if you're private, nonprofit. Anyway, we could ask for a secondary question to say, so that one Al should say associates, baccalaureate, or certificate.
Mhm.
And if you don't choose one of those, then you go down to private, nonprofit, private, for-profit, public, or other.
Okay,
Because
that's why
national
we got all
apprenticeship
these
could
on
be there
here.
too. National apprenticeship could probably be there.
It's on the next one.
Yeah,
There's your national apprenticeship.
Yeah.
But-
And here's your,
I did all the research on
Right.
this shit. Jesus.
if we want to know if they offer multiple, we could have it as a secondary question. The first one being identify, consistent with 104, identify which of these is your majority, your primary focus, if you will. And then we could say, do you provide other types? And what
Well,
are those?
Okay. And I want to do that because I think we want to be able to track which community colleges are offering bachelor degree programs.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yes.
But we're not going to say consistent. I don't know what you meant by consistent with 104. You were just saying for the language to be
Well,
consistent.
the primary question we have to get an answer to is 104 in the ETPL guidance.
Gotcha.
Then we can ask for multiple choice. Tell us what else you provide if it's not the majority, but you do
Gotcha.
other things, you know. So like a lot of community colleges probably do offer certificate-based
Well,
courses.
they do.
In
Right.
addition to potentially now baccalaureate. And so we would want to know that, like you said, that would be a multiple choice with all the same options again, but they're not the majority. See what I'm saying? You would have the same list twice. One is first tell us what your majority is, majority focus. Then the second is tell me all the others you give.
It
Well, right,
originally
but I
said,
would-
it originally said majority, and then we changed it to primarily because people. didn't
Primarily
like-
is kind of, I mean,
Yes.
Well,
But
we would
isn't
just have
there
to
like
define
an
it.
info
Searched
bubble?
and
Isn't there going to
considered.
be an info bubble there to say what the hell that means?
We can, yeah.
Yeah, I think we should put
mean-
an info bubble there. And then I would also say, let's not repeat all three things. Let's get like, if they pick associate's degree, then the drop down could, or there could be like, do you offer either of these or something like that? Because you don't want them to pick associate's degree again.
What do we have
well,
as the other, is this the list or is there other things?
No, that's a list.
Oh, okay, so
well,
if they
we've
pick
reworded
Higher
it
ed.
different than the list. Because the list of 8
This is
is
the list for just for higher ed. The other the other part of the 8 is embedded in the other provider
Right.
types.
Right. This is
Right.
just higher ed.
Yes. Okay.
And so okay, so let me make sure I got my notes down here right. If you picked associate's degree, you would want the bachelor's degree or higher and the community college certificates of completion as checkboxes. Like you could select
Yeah.
those.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're selecting primary and then you could select whatever else.
Yes,
Right.
Mark.
And the same way with bachelor's, if you do that one, then the other two become checkboxes. And if you select
Right.
community, then the other two become checkboxes. Okay. I think I got it.
Mhm.
Do universities offer certificates of completion programs? Kelly,
No, not like,
Mhm.
not a
not like community
formal, like,
colleges do.
yeah, not like community, because community colleges do stackable, so it's like stackable credentials
Right,
leading to
gotcha, gotcha.
associates. Yeah, a little bit
Okay.
different, but okay, yeah. So you've got it's a weird order how they have this listed.
Yes, it is.
well,
It should
remember
be
the
flipped.
question is entity, not what type of
Right.
entity
It's
are
the
you, not what is your
institution.
outcome.
Yeah.
You know, but basically they're saying if you're higher ed, but your majority of what you do is associate's degree. I don't know why I mean, do other states not call them community colleges that you could just come out and say community college, university, you know, or whatever, because that would
Well,
be
they
clear
don't,
to
'cause,
me.
like,
It says
no.
college and university.
Right
here.
there, college.
That's our question. I'm saying from a perspective of reporting why they use on 1 and 2 and 3 the way they've done it versus just calling them community colleges, universities.
I'm just
Because we
saying
know
higher ed,
if you're
'cause
a
it's
community
in-
college, we know your
Oh,
primary
geez.
focus is on associates. If you're a university, we know your primary focus is on baccalaureate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's more
Yeah.
direct to the question they're asking.
Well, we could put the order because Kelly, aren't you like saying like really it should go from like community college certificates? It should be
Yes.
stackable.
Right.
To
I mean, that's
associates
just-
to bachelor's.
It should go community college certificates of completion, associate's degree, bachelor's.
Mm-hmm.
And then you all can figure out how to program it behind the scenes.
Yep.
Because then it shows a stackable credential progression, so to
Right.
speak.
All right, I got that.
And then
All
you'll
right.
just program it to say, because associate's degree be 2, so, but, or the second in the pick list, but for the purposes of your report, I guess it would be 1.
Right, if they pick that as the
Right.
one of 3, then it would be whatever one of 3 it is, and then if they added
Right.
another 2, that's just for your review
Yeah.
knowledge, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We went through state. Okay. And then you get to here. This looks so good. And then here it's provider accredited by the agency. Then if you say yes, you can select the accrediting agency. Hopefully
Wait,
that's,
didn't we just answer this top question, or did I miss something?
yeah, you
No,
answered,
he
we answered
went
the top
back.
question. I went
And
back
this
to this
is the
page.
one,
Oh,
This
you
is-
went back. Okay, sorry.
yes,
Okay.
this is the one that take off the Illinois Community College Board. And I
Yep.
found the email and I forwarded the email to you all again. So it's top on your,
All right, thank
in your
you.
inbox.
Email, I'll put email. Public hire.
Hey, can we send this link when we're doing for the user testing? Can we send this to Whitney, Laura?
I mean, they would have to be able to provide her the ability to get
Yes.
in. So yeah,
She can get in.
Well, we
She'll be
can
able to
do
get in.
that.
She'll be able to get in. It's open.
just with the
Okay.
link, it's open. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
We consider the document, and when you consider the document and it has the link in it and everything.
Let's make sure we got all her changes though before we send her a link.
Yeah, take that out. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we should be okay. That would normally say okay. Now I'm going to go back to page 1. We're going to hit another one. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's pick one of these. Let's go to
All right.
wrap. We'll say it's public. And then we'll go here. Whoops. See, I didn't put in a description.
And as you're typing that, did you see my comment in chat?
No, I haven't yet.
There's a minimum number of words, and I don't know what that is. We have to have Jeff what the
It's in the thing, I think.
In-
Training provider description. It's a alphanumeric 2000.
no, not the most, the least, because we do have
Oh.
people going in and entering only a couple words, and now it's getting kicked back when Jeff submits and whips. So we got to know what that looks like. What the
Minimum is.
Yeah, well, it may not only just be minimum words. It may be like, I can't imagine they have this, but it could be AI kind of going, well, that's not really a description. You know what I'm
Don't they
saying?
have
So
a checker?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The checker's kicking these things out now. So Jeff's having to come to Paul and us to reach out to providers or the local area and say, hey, we need a different description. This is getting kicked out. So
Is
I
there
just want to
any-
figure out what
Yeah.
that is and make sure.
Now, this
that we
isn't
have
the
that.
training program description. No, this is a pre-screening provider prescription.
Right, it's still reportable. It's element 102.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it-
right.
we have a check, there is a checker out there. So if we have a checker, can we link this, throw it in the
I'll type
checker
it in.
behind the scenes and see, make sure it passes muster before they go any further?
Okay, let me look here. Provider description. Okay. Where do I find that? Is there a link you gave me?
I'll
already?
have to find it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Paul and Mark probably have access to it quicker than I do, but
Okay. All right, let me go to the next one. I'm just going to do this because it's easy. All right. So now what we did here, I think this was Kelly's suggestion, maybe it was Mark's, enough for sure, but we just put the first sentence more or less in here and an expansion so that doesn't take up the whole page there. Okay, registered apprenticeship programs, registered with the United States Department of Labor, Office of Apprenticeship eligible for inclusion in the state list of eligible term members. Does the provider wish to opt in? Yes, and you can add an opt-in form here. Okay. And then down here, does the RTI provider have documentation issued by the appropriate state agencies listed above that authorizes to solicit students? Yes, let me just hit no, just so you can see what happens here. It gives us an error. We haven't seen that yet, but that's what that is. If I hit yes, then I can upload that documentation. Not that it I can really tell you what's in that documentation, but okay. And that gets us to there. Okay, I'm going to go and we're going to do a different one. All right. I could use the rapids just so you make sure we can do that. And then okay. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go. Oh, I think we want to do wrap private, right? There's another section on that. Another question. Isn't there another question on that? I think. It's this one here, right? It's a little different if you do wrap private. This is the same up here. And that was a fix from last week also. Because this question was on the public or private. And then I can do approve, provider's been approved, upload the permit, provider's existing delay, provider is exempt, provider must apply. Doesn't really matter which one of these top three I hit. Okay, and that is that. I'm going to previous this back all the way, and we're going to do something different. Okay. Now we're going to go into this other. Okay, other public or private providers, CBOs, JLMOs, FBOs. Institution is a private nonprofit provider, and check below which option best describes this. I'll say community-based. If I do this, then we select the state and we select, because this is out of state, proof. I'd have to have proof here. And I would have to have evidence that I don't offer okay, and that gets us to community-based or labor management organization. Same thing here. We did the expansion so it doesn't take up the whole page and you're looking for where to find the questions, but it's available. This provider documentation issued by the appropriate state education agencies listed above. That's here, listed in these. Yes, once again. And then does the provider approve state private business vocational school PVCS for community-based labor? And that's this. I put a Word document in that time just to show you it works. Good. I'm going to go back. We're going to look at the next one. Okay. If we go down here and select providers of adult education literacy under this Title II, then we have two additional questions. Provider adult education funded through ICCB, and we have does provider have programs that are part of the integrated career and public ICAPS. Okay. Next, I'll leave that right now. That's obviously that I'll just put it there. Okay. This is for that. And I think this is the same as we just did. I don't think there's anything new here. Yeah, there's nothing new here. All right, let me make sure that is all of them. Let me see if there's anything else.
And then, did you do the adult ed?
That's one I just did, didn't I?
Okay.
Yeah, this is the one I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
did.
okay.
Yep. Yep, I think that's all of them.
All right. Looks good.
So I think, first of all, let me don't tell you what I think. You think it's a little bit better that we expanded and collapsed instead of having all that available in front of you? Or no?
Yes, I like it better.
Yes.
right? Okay, good.
Yeah.
'Cause,
And I would think that we would carry that over into some of the other development we're doing.
Good, yeah, because I mean, you don't need to be if you. I can't even do it anymore, but it used to be, all of this you would
Right.
see at one time, and that was getting really confusing. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, I will need. Okay, there's two places. One's over in training, I think, and one's here, and then one's on the air page.
Okay.
I need contact information for who they're going to contact from a state ETPL coordinator perspective.
We have a
Is that what-
generic, we have a generic email address. I'll make sure to get that in
Okay,
there.
yeah, you get that to me and I'll put that in. I'll put that in here.
Mhm.
And I think that's all. So here's what I've got on this. We're going to take out Illinois Community College Board ICCB. We're taking that out. Was there anything else from, can't remember who you said it was from now, but
Whitney,
Whitney, is there anything else from her in there besides
not
that?
that off the top of my head, no.
Okay. And then we're
But Laura,
going to,
can we check
go ahead.
though to make sure? Laura,
I'll pull up the email. Thank you, Mark. Put the email address in the chat.
and then on the first page, we are going to have you pick the one, which will make it primary, and then we can make the other two also checkable. Okay. We're going to change the order to community college associates, then bachelor's. We're going to, I got the email from you, minimum number of words for train program. I'll need that, Mark, whenever you can find that. And then I'm going to try to find the checker for provider description, see if we can integrate that.
Mark's looking for that. We found a PDF that has it in it. I think it's in the WIPS ETP reporting module, but he's looking for that.
Yeah,
For
well,
you.
I'm guessing it's embedded and I don't see
I think it's
anything that,
embedded.
so if you want, I can try to reach out to WIPS and ask them from a user
Yeah.
perspective for any information that would, and let them know we're trying to develop a new system and we'd love to do the
Agreed.
edit check within it if there's anything they can provide us.
Yeah, if they've got the API, we can just go check
Yeah,
it.
that's going to be, because I see the same thing that Laura provided as far as PDF, which doesn't give any really description. It
Well, I
just,
mean, if it's very descriptive, we can embed that logic into ours.
Mhm.
That's no problem either. We don't have to go for theirs. That might even be easier. I don't, it's not checking legitimacy, or as it is. You're saying it's
yeah, well,
checking.
it says it'll check grammar and spelling also,
Yeah.
but it's
okay.
doing some kind of data
It
check.
does.
It says,
It's a quality check.
yeah. Where the
Okay.
heck that thing go, Laura?
Do we
Hey,
know
hey.
what kind of ones have been, like, have you got any of them, like, I mean, I know blatant ones, obviously, like I just did, right? That's
Yeah.
obvious. But was there any, can you tell me any of them that are a set that has been rejected that you look at and is like, wow?
Paula says, yes, none of them can be identical. And I'm sure there's others. If Jeff was
Yes.
on here, I'm sure he'd be able to tell you.
Yeah, like some universities or training providers in general, I should say, will just copy and paste the description because it's so vague across all their programs to save time because they're submitting dozens at a time sometime.
Right, but this is
Yeah.
not the program description. This is
This is the
description.
So,
of the
yeah, so you wouldn't have
training
duplicates on
provider.
this.
Right,
Not on this
because
one, but you
I
would on
would
the
have,
program,
right?
but no.
I could have,
Yeah.
right? I want to have, like, well,
Well,
I'm sorry.
I mean, you would only have one.
I only have one because
If
it's
it's
for
only
the
a provider,
entity.
you're only one provider. You're
Yeah.
not
It's
multiple
only for the
providers.
entity, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But they're checking provider description and program description. So the duplicates are probably on the program.
Program name. Yep. Okay. Description.
Now-
name, Yep.
One thing that on Whitney's thing, the second one that she wanted was if you go to public higher education,
Okay. Does it matter here?
yeah, doesn't matter there.
Okay. In state or out of state, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Well, in state,
Here
yeah.
we go. There you go.
Where it says no, the provider does not have an approval letter,
Yep.
or up on the top where the question says approval letter, it should say, according to Whitney, approval or recognition letter.
Approval or recognition letter. Okay.
Yeah, in both that question and that second response.
I don't
Then one
know
more.
if I'm the one that did this. It doesn't really matter who did this, but should approval letter and approval or recognition letter, that should those be not capitalized?
Yeah, it can be lowercase,
Yeah.
according to Whitney, yeah.
Okay.
And then she's got one more thing on here when you get
Yeah, I'm
done
ready.
taking notes. Oh, you ready? Okay. If you go to CBO or labor management.
Yep. Let me get back.
It's the third one, yeah. So if you go to CBO, community-based organization, you go to next. ICCB does not approve anything here. Oh, okay, hold on. So CBO,
Well,
yeah.
it's probably in.
So yeah, so it's
Oh, yeah, right here.
that's what she said.
She wants this out of here. Oh,
Yeah,
no, it's
she-
just this. Just this.
Yes.
So, okay, okay.
Just
okay.
remove that from everywhere
Same
that's at.
concept, right? Okay.
Yep, yep.
Good
Those were
catch.
the only three things that she pointed out.
All right, we'll get those fixed up.
Okay, so and it's the same, yeah, okay. So everywhere that has that.
All right. Sounds good. We'll get the email with the documentation out for all of you. I'll tell you when we get those changes before you send that to her. Okay?
Yes, please, thank you.
Yeah. Um,
Hey, Al,
Did
did
Libby-
you get,
yeah.
sorry, I had to jump off for just a second. Did you get Kelly's language in the chat?
let me look. Let me look.
What is the primary type of credential your institution awards?
Oh, okay. Back on
On
higher
main page.
education.
Yeah. main
Mhm.
page. Yep, right there.
It should
Yeah.
be what is the primary.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
she
he's-
reorganized them and then she gave the second.
All right, let me I'll grab them from chat. Okay.
Okay. All right,
Thank you
sorry,
very
thanks. Yeah, no.
Olivia, you on yet? I don't know if you're on yet.
Yes, I am.
Okay, you can we can talk well, let me get back to the let me stop this. We had a couple things. One of them.
I'm also going to stop the recording, Al.
Okay, thank you.